Okay, well, I'm really excited for today's conversation. Welcome everyone to Flamecast, which is our way of bringing you the FlameCon spirit year-round. And with me today is someone whose work I very much admire and am very excited to talk to, Bishakh Som. Hi, Bishakh.
Hi, how are you,
Hi.
everybody?
So I would love to start off by having you tell everyone in your own words who you are and what you do.
Sure. So I am an Indian American trans femme cartoonist, comics artist, painter, illustrator, sometime graphic designer, and ex-architect.
Oh, that I didn't realize you used to be an architect. That explains so
Yeah,
much.
yeah,
Um,
there's a whole lot of trauma that comes from that, but there's also a lot of stuff that I took away from it that informs my work now. So
yeah,
both the good and the bad come with it.
yeah, I can relate. I used to be I worked in museums and galleries for
Uh-huh.
for the early part of my career, and congrats to femmes of color who stay in that world. It was a
Oh
tough
my
world for me to
gosh.
be in.
Yeah, that same. Like, yeah, good
Yeah,
luck if you can do it, because
yeah,
that's a battle I'm not willing to fight. But if you have the
yeah,
strength,
absolutely. But that
send some my
actually,
way.
yeah, and I was gonna say, yeah. So we're looking at this is the cover for your book, Apsara Engine, excuse me. Um,
Mm,
we'll continue to take a look at more of your work as we talk, but
okay.
definitely I see the architectural influences, which might be a good lead into my next question. Who or what inspires your work?
So, I was thinking, aside from like the visual inspirations that I draw on, artists like Edward Gorey, architects like Lebbeus Woods, cartoonists like the Hernandez brothers and so on, Dame Darcy and Mary Cassatt. I was thinking also that I'm really, and I don't get to talk about this much, but I'm really inspired by music.
Hmm.
And, a lot of my favorite musical artists somehow I think inform my work. I'm thinking specifically that people are probably tired of me mentioning her name, but Kate Bush in
Oh,
particular.
how can anyone be tired of Kate Bush
I know
references?
you can't be, but I don't want to hear me talking about it so much anymore. But I will just mention that, her lyrics and her lyricism have informed a lot of my more poetic and lyrical comics, in the
Yeah.
way that the song kind of unfolds and touches you. Um, I, I used to think I would want to make comics that made you kind of cry in the same way that a sad song makes you cry.
Mm.
I haven't gotten there yet, but yeah, I mean, I still love, I listen to music while I draw and make comics, and I think I channel a lot of that energy into my work too.
Yeah, I can definitely sense that. I think one of the things that I've enjoyed about some of your comics is just sort of like the space that you leave for your characters to have conversations with each other. So it's very like
Yeah.
narrative and it's kind of lingering in that moment that doesn't feel like plot point, action, 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 but just
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I
like
mean,
giving it room to breathe.
some of the comics are just conversations, and some
Yeah.
of the starting points of the comics are just because I want to see, like, two South Asian femmes having an extended conversation. That might be the kernel or the starting point of a comic. Maybe it'll go off in some tangent, but the inspiration for that is just to spend time with two characters and be sort of like the third character sitting with them, having this kind of dialogue,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
yeah, I really enjoy that kind of pace and the space that creates too.
Yeah.
It's a slow,
Absolutely.
meditative, open space, I think.
Yeah. Oh, meditative. That's a good word for it. Um, so kind of taking a slightly different turn, in this year where we've been in our own spaces and maybe not in convention spaces.
Yes.
I was wondering, as I think ahead to what FlameCon of the future might look like, if you could just kind of take me back and tell me maybe one of your favorite convention moments. Any convention,
So,
anytime.
okay, I'm not trying to pander here, but what I'm thinking of, what came to mind at the just when just thinking about the question was FlameCon in, I believe, 2017. And
I think it was the first time I met you.
yes, yes. And I was on a panel with Kristen Rousseau, Nicole George, I don't know if I pronounce her name, but and T. Franklin.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Nicole's dog was there,
Ponyo.
Ponyo, and Ponyo was like the fifth member of the panel. And when she, I think, or I'm not sure,
Yeah.
were they got up and they had their paws right on the table of the panel, and they were like, "Well, don't listen to these other folks. I'm clearly the star of
the show."
And it was just so darling. It was like I was tearing up a little bit because it was so beautiful and sweet.
I do miss moments like that.
I remember was being part of the Queers and Comics convention in, I'm going to say 2019, but it could have been 2018, and being part of a trans panel moderated by my friend Jean, and just being able to be part of being asked to be on that panel. You know, my books were not yet out, but were on the verge of coming out, made me feel for the first time that I'd arrived somewhere.
Yeah.
I'd my people, and I felt this sense of belonging, you know?
Yeah.
And
Wonderful.
that was a really special moment for me. And I think, yeah, it was the first time I felt like that my presence as a trans femme comics artist was sort of solidified. And yeah, I always have very fond memories of that.
This might be, wait, where am I? Oh, I'm never too far away from my own comics. I think you were talking about this book.
Yes. Yeah, we were. Yeah.
Anthology, We're Still Here. This is one of my favorites, and I'm so glad. I'm so glad that you had that moment on the panel, and that you are a participant in that beautiful book. That's actually another book for folks who might not be familiar with it. That your comic in that one is another beautiful one, with just femmes on a beach just having a conversation. So
exactly, yeah.
We'll check that one out. So my last question. As you can tell, I geek out over a lot of things, including comics. But Bishakh, what do you geek out over?
Lately I've been geeking out over a genre of document and a type of way of thinking that has also informed my comics work and my art in general. And I'm not sure quite what to call it, but generally the graphic design and world of things like subway maps and maps in general. And, you know, obviously there's if you read my story Swan Dive in Apsara Engine, that's all about cartography and maps. But I find myself going back, especially in the time of pandemic, to things like I'm looking at a map of the Paris Metro, which was redesigned recently, and it's just so beautiful. And I have a hard time articulating why I like these kinds of things. I like documents that have to do with travel, maybe because we haven't been traveling, but when we could, I found the whole process of travel and the accompanying documents, and, you know, I am talking physical documents here, to have a kind of quality, a graphic quality that talks to me about a certain kind of utopia, even if it doesn't exist, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't know, I could lose myself in a subway map.
I love that
which
idea.
Sounds like an odd thing to say, but
yeah,
those are things that I geek out over.
Finding little pieces of something to sink into like that. That's great.
Yeah, I love that.
Well, it's been lovely having this quick conversation with you. I want to have, I want people to find out more about, because I am such a fan and I want other people to be such a fan as well. Where can people find out more about you and your work?
So most of my work is up at my website, which is Bishakh, it's my name down there, .com. And on my Instagram is at Bishbash, which is BICHE_bash. So those are the two best places
Great.
to see the full range of work that I do.
Wonderful. Well, I hope everyone checks it out. It was so good speaking with you, and I'm looking forward to the next convention. This conversation will, I don't know, this suffices until the next time we're able to do this in a real room. We'll have to invite Ponyo as well.
Oh my gosh, yes. Thinking about meeting, doing FlameCon again, and just being out in the world and getting to see you, getting to see other artists and people in the comics world is keeping me going. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, awesome. Thank you so much, and we'll be back with another Flamecast soon. Thanks, everyone.
Awesome. Thank you.